Hey, welcome to another edition of the Cut Pro Wrestling Podcast. My name is Randy Zellea of BackSportsPage.com, and with me is my tag team partner, the one and only Emerito Rivera. Part 2 of Diamond Dallas Page, the master of the Diamond Cutter, Bang, and DDPY. And just to really quick before we go to part 2 of this interview, let's quickly reflect back a little bit on our time of talking with DDP. I got to tell you, what a great interview. What a great guy. And it certainly was a lot of fun.
How cool is he that he sat there and told us all those stories? I mean, like we were talking earlier, and I likened it to like an uncle sitting down with his nephews and just regaling them with stories and tales of the past. Like we sat there and we listened to this, and we were in awe, man. Like he took that much time out to talk to us was pretty cool.
It was a lot of fun, and we encourage everybody to try DDP Yoga. Go to his official website or go to his social media handles for all of it. And speaking of social media handles and finding great content, you can go to backsportspage.com, listen to the archives of our show. And if you don't want to go to the website, you want to listen to it on your phone, good news. We're on Spotify. We're on iTunes. We're on Google Podcasts. Wherever you like going to listen to things on YouTube, we're there too. Check out the Cut Pro Wrestling Podcast on all of your podcast platforms.
You know, I actually found us on SoundCloud as well.
And SoundCloud too. Yes, I put a couple episodes of us on SoundCloud. And so, like I said, we are everywhere. So check us out. And also this portion of the show is brought to you by our good friends at Level 1 Games. Em knows something about that. Take it away.
Right. Listen, if you're into games, whether there be current games, retro games, card games like Pokemon, Magic, we got it all. Come check us out. We're in Pompton Plains, New Jersey. Stop by. I'm always there. Happy to talk wrestling. Happy to talk about the products we sell. It's a great place, very community based. So come check us out.
That's level1games.com. But enough about us sitting there rambling on. We know what you're here. You want to listen to the master of the Diamond Cutter. So take it away, DDP. I had to ask this question, just transitioning into wrestling a little bit, about AEW and your appearances that you made and your relationship with Cody and his family. Can you talk about the success that they're having and your experiences working with them behind the scenes and on camera?
Well, it all started when Cody made that claim that he thought that him and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega could draw 10,000 people at a wrestling hall, at a arena. And Meltzer saying, well, Cody is a little bit, he's a little rambunctious there. I think they could draw 4,000 people, though, which is unbelievable at that time for independent wrestling. Like the biggest thing that COVID fucked was wrestling.
Yeah.
Because independent wrestling was insane. And I'm talking about the UK, Mexico, Japan, USA. I mean, it was unbelievable. And when Cody said that, I remember Cody. I got to give you this backstory. I remember Cody. I've been mentoring him since he was 12. Not so much today. He pretty much does his own thing. But if he wants any advice, I'm always there. He knows that. But when he was 14 years old, I was getting ready to go into WWE. And his dad had a company called Turnbuckle. And it was summertime, so he kept getting ready to play football. He said, when you start football practice? I was getting, get ready to go in the ring and just knock off some of the rust. And he's like, I'm not going to play football this year. I'm like, what? I spoke to two of his teams when they were, because I was like a god at that time, especially those kids. And I'm like, what do you mean you're quitting football? You love football. He goes, I do. He said, but I want to focus on wrestling because not this year, but next year, I'm going to win the States. I'm like, wow. And the funny part is I always called him Young Buck back then.
Really?
Yeah, always. And I said, well, Young Buck, I said, if that's going to take, he goes, yeah, I have to work my ass off. I go, hey, that's what you do best. So bottom line is I moved to LA because WWE didn't work out for me. And I just wanted to go out to Hollywood and do my thing as an actor. And the guy you guys talked to set up the thing, Marlon, and knew Cody, and we were talking. He goes, "Hey man, you see what Cody? He's on a roll, and his junior year." So I call him up. He's 11-0, and I'm like, "Oh, it's awesome, man. Just keep up putting the work in." Then I called him, and he was 22-0. Then I called him at 30-0, and he was excited. And he said, "Oh, Dallas, oh man," I go, "It's been amazing. I mean, I just was. They interviewed the paper there. The paper interviewed me and Dusty. He always calls, not always, but a lot of times he calls Dad Dusty, but Dusty, and he and you just don't know that they came to and Eyewitness News is interviewing us." I go, "I just don't know." I go, "Well, back up, young buck. I think I might have an idea." "Well, I know. I think I was a 3-time world champion." "No, I don't mean it like that." I'm just busting the balls. I said, "Listen, man." I said, "Now you got bullseye on your back. So, probably a good thing if you, really keep your feet flat on the ground. Keep reaching for the stars, bro, but keep your feet on the ground because everybody's bucking for you right now." And I said, "And if you get to the state championships, I'll be there." He said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You're going to come from LA to Atlanta." I said, "Yeah, I'll be there." And I was there, and I watched him go 48-0 that year.
Mhm.
I mean, it was impressive. And the next year, in fact, that summer, we were talking about Rob Zombie, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to pull it down for you. It'll be too hard for me to put it up there.
Oh.
Cody, I told him if he won the states, I'd bring him out to LA because you always want to be an actor,
Okay.
So this is me, Kimberly, Rob Zombie, and Cody right there.
Wow.
Young Cody look there.
Okay. And he just it was like a dream thing for a kid to go through. Then I took him to the set because he'd never seen a set before. So my buddy, Terry Crews, who is really nobody at the time. And I told him, I was like, "Keep an eye on this guy, Terry Crews. He's going to be one of the biggest stars in the world." And there's Terry.
Holy crap.
And Cody, and I can't remember that girl's name, but she's gorgeous. And this is on the set of God, what was that plane movie that they did? I can't remember the name of it, but it was a super funny movie that they did where they were on a plane. And it was like a spoof on Airplane. And it was funny. Either way, Terry had a job being on there. He was like the security guard or something.
Was it Soul Plane?
Soul Blade, yes, yeah. So, but I told him he's going to be a big star, man. And Terry Crews is he's one of the most talented guys and most driven guys I've ever met, and super sweetheart individual. He changed his number a million times since back then, but always had his email. And just for the hell of it, I emailed Terry. And I said, "Any chance you'd, give me a blurb for my Positively Unstoppable book?"
I was about to bring that up too.
And Terry Crews wrote, "I want not only write you a blurb, I'll read the book." And he meant it. And he put, "Great book. DDP's honesty about his own issues, followed by methods of systematically attacking each one with action and confirmed by real world examples, makes this book a powerful tool for those who want to move from constant failure to constant success."
Wow. And that's something I
That's
wanted
crazy.
to touch on before we let you go, was your book. This is the second book you wrote. And
Actually, the third. The first one was Positively Page.
Yep.
Then the next one was Yoga for Regular Guys, which I wrote with my buddy, Dr. Craig Aaron, which was really, back then, I made this workout for guys. And I figured if we do it with the book, let's do a little tongue in cheek. And I used to say, most yogis are very namaste. YRG, way more TNA. and so many women started loving the program that TNA would become tone and attitude instead of what it meant originally. Exactly. We wrote it. It was kind of funny, at points. We make fun of shit, but about the workout, we were stone cold serious. And really, when Doc was like asking me, so, we're gonna make money off this book, you think? I said, no, not really. He's like, what? I go, why are we writing it? I said, it's kind of like the thing that's going to give our company, because this isn't going to be the ending, this is the beginning. It's going to give us credibility because we're published. And that's what it did. And when Arthur's video went bada boom, you couldn't find that book anywhere. And if you did, right now on eBay or whatever, it's $50, $60, $80. Back when Arthur's thing went crazy, it was $200 minimum if you could get it. So that was pretty cool. And then they went, do you want to reprint? I'm like, no, I don't want to see it for $1.99 somewhere. Exactly. I want to see it friggin' $160 because it's wealth of knowledge, So back to Cody. So bottom line is that senior year, he lost his 12th match and 12th or 11th, something like that. So I called him, hey, young buck, how you doing? Now I know what happened, but I'm not going to sell it. He's like, Dallas, I lost, fucking lost. And I said, thank God. He's like, what? Why would you say that? I said, code. I said, you think you learn anything from winning, bro? Exactly. You learn from losing. You learn from falling down. You learn from making mistakes. I said, you have the advantage here. I said, what did you learn? And, kid's super sharp, And I go, exactly. That's what you learned. Let me tell you why this is advantageous to you. I said, that kid, he thinks he beat you. I said, would you rather have met him being 44-0 in the quarterfinals and he beat you then? Mm-hmm. Well, hell no. I go, exactly. He thinks he beat you. He doesn't know who Cody Rhodes is. Even though his name is Cody Runnels, I always called him Cody Rhodes. Yeah. And I went out there the funny part was Cody changed his style of wrestling because one of the things he realized, no one wanted to be pinned by Cody. So they would do everything they could just not to make it to 3 periods and not get pinned. Well, as soon as he figured that out, he'd take him down, he'd let him back up, like literally get off him, take him down, get back up, take him down, get back up, take him down, get back up, and then finally just pin him. He was in the craziest shape I've ever seen him in that senior year. And they're about to start the match. And in Georgia, when you're in the state finals, you have 5 chairs sitting on the mat, family. Cody goes, Dad, get Dallas down here. And he pulled me down there and I sat on the, with the family there. And it was super cool. And he ate that same kid who was undefeated. He ate him alive. And that's when he came out to LA, did all that stuff. So there was no question. I thought it was the greatest move ever, but ballsy as hell.
Oh yeah.
The greatest move when he left WWE and took no, you guys don't see me as a top guy. I do. I'm going to go prove you wrong. That shit I would do. you know. So it's shit Dusty would do, you know.
Yeah.
So I loved it. And then when he said a 10,000 people thing, and then I said to him around then, let the young bucks have their thing that I know you do with them, their elite TV. I go, let us do some stuff for you. Don't cost you nothing. And we just started doing vignettes for Cody.
Mhm.
And then eventually, once they got the deal with Tony Khan, I told him, I said, we've been doing this shit for 6 months. So now you got money. The first 3 are free. Here's the nephew rate, and it was a pittance of what a production company would charge. And since then, they've given us a raise. But we do, my business partner Steve Yu oversees all that stuff, and they now know what a genius he is. And one of the really cool things about that documentary, like I cramp my hamstring. One of the things that they know, the documentary it's going to come out, Relentless. We had it finished a year ago, and we were so busy that we didn't do it, because when you have a documentary done, you have to send it to the lawyers, and you got to make sure you can do everything, and that they'll sign you a letter that. And our lawyers, did you ever see the movie Blackfish?
Yes.
Okay. That lawyer friggin' represented the people who made that film, because SeaWorld, if they could have crushed those people,
Oh yeah.
they would have. But they couldn't say shit because they did it all the right way. Well, that's how we did Resurrection, and we do anything we do. We make sure we're doing this like this. If not, the lawyer goes, no, you can't do that. So we had it all ready to go, but life got in the way, and we were so busy. And I was like, I was pissed that we hadn't done it. And then I did that match for AEW.
Uh-huh.
And that was all Cody's idea. Like,
oh, was it?
Yeah, my idea was my idea was the interview, because I wanted to say, if you'd have told me 19 years ago that DDP would be back on TNT with a company called AEW, I'd have to say you were smoking crack. Because what are the odds of that? Who would have ever guessed that in the last 15 years? Like, no way. That will never happen. Never say never, especially in wrestling. And to be out there. But Cody put everything together. He put together the, who was in the matches. He put together the ending, the finish, everything. And he said, and then you'll go through, you'll blow a comeback, you do whatever you want to do out there, and then you're going to come off the top rope and splash everybody.
Yeah. And that was memorable.
Yeah,
dude. But I just looked at him like, and he didn't tell me, like, when we started. He told me, 3 days before we're going to do it. And I was like, listen, I want everybody there to run through. I don't want, I've been in the ring and really worked in 15 years, and I wanted it to be amazing. And what happened when I do when I would do the clothesline and someone ducks it and I catch them in a diamond cutter. Well, I hadn't done that, I had to teach the younger guys how to do that. So what had happened, I had pulled a muscle in my back after about 30 of them, showing them how to do it. Because I got to pull them back in, and they got to just dance with me. And so now he's telling me, and I can't even get on top of the top rope on the one where they have at the school, because they're loose. On TV, they're like steel. Like, they don't move. You're good. And so bottom line is, I went to see my doc, and he worked on me, and I did DDPY for 4 hours before that thing started, on and off all day. So I was warm as shit. And when I went off that top rope, those people lost their minds. And the backstory to that is 31 years earlier, my first week in professional wrestling as a manager for Bad Company. Hold on. This is the first day I was ever in. That's why I love this wall here. Like, it isn't just stories, it's like show and tell. This is my first day in professional wrestling, AWA. That's Pat Tanaka in the middle, one of the Diamond Dolls behind him, Paul Diamond and me. And the only reason that I'm not towering over them is because my legs are spread like this. God, what was I bringing that up for? And my brain's a little foggy today. I brought that up about AWA. What was I talking about? Come on, tell me. What was I talking about before that?
You're talking about AW Cody in the top.
Got it. Okay, got it. So that week, that day, you filmed 4 shows, and the Bad Company was feuding with the Guerrero family, Hector and Mondo, Eddie's brothers. And we got to the end of the 4th show, and those guys just told me, when we go out to the floor, you come to us. So I come over to him and help him up, and here comes Mondo runs right up on a top rope and explodes off that top rope, doing the whole layout. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'd never seen that, especially from that angle. And he came down on us, and I thought, that's my first. I used to have the picture of me like this, and Pat and Paul like that. And I would have loved to put that picture. Hold on. It's over here on one of the other walls, on one of the wrestling walls. I would have loved to put that picture right next to that picture.
Oh, wow. Yeah, exactly.
That's a great picture. That's such a great picture.
Oh my God. Positively Unstoppable, the art of owning it, is all about owning the 6-inch piece of real estate between your ears. And I made it as a blueprint for people to help people do my program. That's really who I wrote it for. It's for everybody, but I really just did it because I wanted to help them own their lives. And everything comes down to this story you tell yourself. So I'm getting ready to do that. I could break my neck. I could tear my ACL. I could fuck myself up.
Yeah.
So that could be the story. And that part wanted to come into my mind. But 2 days out, that shit was gone. The only thing as soon as anything will come in my head, I go, this is going to be amazing. I'm going to blow people away. I'm going to jettison off there like Mondo Guerrero. This is going to blow everyone away. Anytime I thought about it, that's the only thing I would think. And when I went out there, this is going to be amazing. I'm going to blow them away. This crowd's going to lose their mind. That's all I would say to myself. Mm-hmm. Didn't need to say it out loud, but I bet you I said it out loud a bunch of times to myself too. And it's all about the story you tell yourself. So you got to stop telling yourself about, I'll try it. Fuck, try it. There is no try. There is only to do. Now, Yoda didn't say it like that, but I said it like that. But it's close enough. There is no try.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pick up your book. I was looking at it earlier, and I am that guy you're talking about, where I will sit there and think of 1,000 reasons why I won't do something. And I don't let the positive thoughts in, like I'm my own worst enemy. I'm always up in here. So that's something I'm planning on reading. I'm going to check it out.
How old are you now?
I'm 39.
Okay. 39, my career still hasn't taken off yet. Like anything can happen, anything can happen. Like your whole life could be so different a year from now. Exactly. Like you don't know. But I'll guarantee if you keep thinking like that, it'll be exactly the same or worse.
Exactly.
So it's all about, the decisions you make. And then, luck. You got to be lucky. But luck is preparation meeting opportunity. That's what luck is. Because fuck luck. You got to make your own luck. And that's the driving force. I think I said it to you guys right before I got on the show. I was doing a thing about guys wanting to do a docu-series with me.
Yeah.
And I said, by the way, that like 600-pound life thing, that is such a fucked up show for the reasons of it's not trying to help those people. They come off like they're trying to help, but they never get anywhere.
Mhm.
I've got 600-pound people that I've helped. It's really changed their lives. You can do that if you really want to. And I won't do anything like that, I told him. I said, and I want to be able to say, fuck that. And that food is garbage. Like you couldn't pay, Coca-Cola couldn't pay me $10 million to say Coke is great. Coke is shit.
Yeah. It really is.
I tell people all the time, I'd rather you drink regular Coke than Diet Coke. I'd rather you snort Coke than drink Coke. And I'm fucking around when I say that.
Of course.
And Coca-Cola as a company, they have a lot of good products now. But that's the reason. The only reason why is because people are getting smarter, and they want to be healthier. Oh, but I don't want to lose the taste. Like back to my app, like my cooking, my nutrition section, everything tastes fucking amazing. And it's super healthy, but it tastes amazing because I don't give a fuck how good something tastes. How healthy something is. If it don't taste good, I'm not eating it.
Exactly.
I don't have time.
And,
This shake I'm drinking, my girl Paige made for me, is ridiculously delicious. Ridiculously.
See, and I think that's where we all fall into that habit of just eating what tastes good and drinking what tastes good. And normally it's all the bad stuff,
Yeah.
I think we're all guilty of that at some point. Dallas, my last question for you, and it's a fair one because I remember listening to your Hall of Fame speech and your reference to the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and I'm reading up and how important Dusty was to you personally and professionally. Can you talk about, because I had not spoken to you since Dusty passed, on how much Dusty meant to you? Can you go into that a little bit?
Yeah. Back here, this is my favorite picture with a dream, and I got a bunch of them in here. Where's that other cigar picture? What the hell? I moved that somewhere? That's weird. Oh, this is a great. This picture right here is Dream and I 33 years ago at a Willie concert, and this is Dream that night singing with Willie. How cool is that?
That's
right?
awesome.
That's awesome. Dream, he really liked me. Michael Graham, God bless his soul. He was, his dad, Eddie Graham, taught Dusty so much. And so the Graham family and Dusty were they were super together. And Dusty, when Ted Turner bought the NWA and he wanted it to be World Championship Wrestling, they wanted Dusty to turn heel. And he was like, fuck you. And he left. And he was going to go back to Florida, he figured, and repop that territory. Just 2 years earlier, Florida was killer. And he came down and Michael Graham called me. And I got on he it was late at night. I had strep throat. I had to leave for do something for AWA next day. And I worked 1 day a week, 1 day a month with the AWA. And we do 4 shows for a month. It'd be on ESPN. So Michael calls me up and I got strep throat and I'm trying to get to sleep early. It's around 12:30 when he called. And he's like, Hey, Dallas, Michael Graham, pick up the phone. I pick up, hey, Mike, how you doing? He's like, hey, I'm here with Dusty Rhodes. We want to, he wants to going to come back to Florida. We're going to pop this territory. And he wants to bring in Baby Doll or Humperdinck or Gary Hart. And, I told him about you. And I want you to get him on the phone with Dusty Rhodes. I want you to blow him away like he's the biggest mark on the planet. I'm like, what? Mike, I got nothing prepared. I got strep throat. He's like, I go, let him show him my videotape I sent you. He goes, my tape machine's broken. You're up. And I hit, good God, that's the road, the tower of power. The man, I just spit out shit for 40 seconds. And then at the end I went, Dusty, that's all I got. I got strep throat. Hello? Hello, Dusty? It felt like it was 5 minutes. It was probably 30 seconds, but he was ribbing me. And he says, was that a recording, kid? And I said, no, that's me. He goes, I want to meet with you. He goes, get with Michael and we'll set up a meet. So I went up there and I wear my cowboy boots and my jeans and my tight shirt and fucking, I come in that room. It's Gordon Soley, Mike Graham, Steve Kern, and Dusty Rhodes. And when he grabbed my hand, boy, I just felt like I knew him all my life because we were so much alike and like-minded. And he said, so tell me about yourself. And I did. I talked for about 20 minutes and he listened. He said, kid, I see you. I see a little bit of Jesse in you. I see a little bit of Captain Lou in you. And I see a little bit of me in you. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put you with Gordon Soley, and you're going to be the Jesse Ventura of the 90s. And I was like, Jesse was the main reason it made me come back to wrestling because I was so blown away by how great an announcer he was and great character. And I'm like, Dusty, I never say I can't do something, but I can't do that. I don't know a wrist lock from a wristwatch. He said, don't worry about it, kid. Gordon Foley going to walk you through it all.
Oh, wow.
And he did, Gordon. And what really became interesting, I wrestled 3 times in 1979, this little independent things, and blew my right knee out when I got hit by a car when I was a kid and took me out of the game. But my goal was to be a professional wrestler at 23. It was my dream since I was 17, really probably 8 years old, but real dream at 17. And so 3 matches in 79. And so I really don't know what fuck wrestling is still. And so I would go up there days that we did TV and do TV. Dusty would bring me in the booking meetings. And he would ask me, so what do you think, Dallas? Like he wanted my energy in the room. He wanted me, like I thought I knew what I was talking about. And I would come up there one day a week and I'd get in the ring with Steve Kern and who was ever there. Well, it was Kendall Windham or whoever. And then I'd go up and after 2 hours, just feeling what the bumps felt like, even though they hurt like shit because I didn't know how to take them. But I wanted to be able to talk about that, and I'd sit up there with Dusty for hours. And at some point, like that picture of us, my second fiance, first 3 times, I got engaged 3 times before I ever got married. But that second fiance, that one tore me down a little bit when we broke up. And Dusty, who lived in Tampa at the time with Michelle, Cody's mom, they came down to Fort Myers and took me and my boys to the Willie concert.
Oh, wow.
And it was super cool. Without Michelle, or as Dusty used to call her, Shelly, I never would have been able to do what I did, because when I would call, because I just call him when he left and became the polka dot guy, And the funny part is that was a total rib on the Cowboy. Like, how do you not bring in Dusty Rhodes as a fucking cowboy? Like, how the fuck do you not do that? Well, you do it if you're meant to ribbon him. And let's see if he can get this over. Oh, he did. He did.
They did.
And he had a lot of great main event matches. And but his body was getting torn and beat up, and he got that opportunity to come back to WCW. And over that period of time, it was like a year or so, maybe a year and a half. And I would call him every once in a while. And Michelle would answer the phone, and she'd say, Dallas, he's not here now, but I'll make sure he calls you back. And he did. And to know Dusty Rhodes the way I know him today, and think I knew him back then, like the odds that he ever called me back were like, Cody sucks on the phone. He's got the same thing. He sucks on texting sometimes, but he gets a million texts. So I get it. But bottom line is, he did call me back. And then when he came back to WCW, he gave me an opportunity as a manager. And 5 months into actually having a contract, I had by this time had the free birds, which he gave me. Michael was another guy that I met in AWA when they were doing something with Memphis and Dallas and AWA. And me and him just clicked. And we ended up in a car, Jerry Jarrett's car, who was running Memphis. And God, I can't remember the guy. He had his booker who was shitting shotgun, and me and Mike were in the back drinking beers. And he was smoking and blowing it towards Jerry because he wanted to piss Jerry off. but Michael PSH, who was a big star back then, he would call me back. If I called him, left the message, he'd call me back, which again blew my mind. But he liked me, and when I came into WCW to manage the Birds, two of the greatest talkers of all time, and
Jimmy Jam.
And both of those guys could just talk. They could talk their way out of anything or into anything. And they didn't need a talker. But Michael said to Jimmy, he said, he really understood that I loved the business. I wasn't in there to be a TV guy. I was there because I love wrestling. And he said, he's got chops. He goes, let's give him the shot. We're going to start off with our backs to the camera. D, you just come through us and do your thing. At the end, we'll look over our shoulders and talk about baptism by fire. And so I was managing the Birds. I created Scott Hall's gimmick, the Diamond Stud at the time. He needed a job bad. I got it for him, and me managing him. And then at some point, Magnum TA came up to me and told me, D, you're doing a really good job with the color commentating with Eric Bischoff, which we were fourth string, 2:00 in the morning, Moose Breath, Iowa. Our shows might've been playing, but he's like, we can't let you manage anymore. I'm like, what? What did I do wrong? He goes, nothing. I go, then why the fuck can't I manage anymore? And he's like, oh, the hair, the clothes, the bling, the rap, the dolls. You're taking too much attention away from the boys. And to his credit, he was right on so many things. He would tell me, Scott Hall, he was like, D, you're too much. You got to back it down. And I didn't agree. And he was right and I was wrong. And so I said to Mags, he goes, it's not your fault. It's what we should have done is put a pair of tights and boots and see if you could do this shit. I was 35 and a half. Now, Dusty didn't have the heart to tell me. So he had Magnum do it. So I'll never forget it as long as I live. I was waiting at the curtain in the Chattanooga Coliseum. and it was a big blue curtain. That's their colors, blue and something. And the birds come up, and these guys are the biggest ribbers and fuck with you that you can imagine, Michael and Jimmy. But they came up super empathetic, and they felt bad for me. And they, were like, hey, kid, it's like, shit happens. It's a business and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, and you could tell they really were like trying to console me. And then I said, well, you know what? I never got in this business to be a fucking manager. I got in this business because I wanted to be in the ring. I said, I got 7 months left of my contract. I'm going down to power plant. I'm going to learn how to wrestle. And I swear to you, they looked at each other like this and went, they just, Michael fell down. He was laughing so hard, he fell down. And I was like, fuck you both. I'll see you in the ring. And, 5 years later, 1996, I'll leave you with this story. Fucking, I have a match with Sting. Of course, Sting goes over. But we had about a 10-minute match. And I came up with all of it. And Stinger, being the sweetheart that he is, he liked it. I mean, there's no reason why Sting should let me do some of the things I did. But he liked me. Today, we're still super tight. And I got home that next day. And, back when we had the answering machines. And, I just let it go I'm walking out the door and I'm letting it go to the machine. And I hear, Paige, yes. And I fuck Michael. And he's talking. I run to the phone. I pick it up. Yo, Mike, what's up? God damn. What's up? Son of a bitch, motherfucker. Mike, what's the matter? What's up? Paige. Sometimes you don't want to talk to somebody. You just want to leave a fucking message. I said, yeah. I go, you want me to hang up so you can leave a message? No, fuck it. Hey, saw your match last night. You and the Stinger. Damn. I got to be honest with you, kid. I have never been so happy to eat crow in my life. He goes, great job. Click. And, like that's in my Hall of Fame speech, that story, because it was a moment, another amazing moment, 1997, probably around January or February. I hadn't seen Jake in a long time, probably a year or so. I didn't even talk to him. And I pick up the phone and I hear, congratulations. I go, Jake? He goes, yeah. I said, congratulations for what? Reinventing the DDT. Like, how big a fucking honor was that?
Wow. That's great.
So like that to me was like winning the United States title. That's how big a deal that was. Oh. Hayes too. That was like those two guys, really fucking like calling you to say I was wrong. And I was so glad I'm wrong. And Jake saying, you're pulling off, dude. Just keep doing it.
That is awesome, dude.
Dallas, you've been so generous with your time today. We can't thank you enough. And, we want to wish you the success and health. And, again, very grateful for everything that you've given us today as far as your time is concerned. So thank you.
That's my pleasure. You guys are fun to talk to. Anybody who wants, like I said, you heard me say before, don't listen to a word I say about my program. Find that Facebook page. It's just DDP Yoga, one word. And there's over 53,000 people on that damn site. So you'll know you're there.
We'll share it as well. We'll
that'd be great.
The link.
That'd be great. And 30% off. The only time you're going to get it right now. Go get the damn app. You don't have to pay for it. Try it out. Boys, it's been your pleasure.
Thank you
I'm
so
outta here.
much.
See ya. Bang.
All right, we're back, and that was Diamond Dallas Page. A special thank you to Diamond Dallas Page and his crew for getting us. We had him for a total of 90 minutes. As you can tell, broken up into 2 hours. One of the few pro wrestlers who has been able to wrestle in WCW, WWE, Impact Pro Wrestling, and now AEW. He was a pleasure to listen to. Probably one of our most enjoyable conversations that we've had so far in the young history of this program, being able to talk with the great Diamond Dallas Page.
Yeah, that was like super awesome, man. And I feel like I learned a lot. I'm actually already starting his push-ups, the 10-second push-ups. I got a couple down. My arms are like spaghetti going up and down. So it's pretty cool, man. Like I said, there's a lot to learn, and there's a lot of information to digest in this interview.
I especially enjoyed the story about him losing his Hall of Fame ring and being able to get it back just by going to the dentist and finding out that he had COVID. So that was
insane, dude.
It was an insane story. It certainly was. Real quick, let's pay some bills. We'll quickly check out backsportspage.com. You can find all the archives of the Cup Pro Wrestling Podcast right there. That's the home base of it. But of course, you can listen to all the archives on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, Google Podcasts, apparently SoundCloud, and everywhere, wherever you can find your podcast. Special thank you to our producer, Andrew Fume. He makes us look and sound as good as we are. And of course, special thank you to my tag team partner, Emerito Rivera. Buddy, we're lost without you, and I'll let you thank our last sponsor.
Oh, Level 1 Games.
Check out Level 1 Games at level1games.com, Pompton Plains, New Jersey. Relive your past and take your game to the next future. Until next week, we are going to be here with Conrad Thompson, the podcast guru, the host of Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard, 83 Weeks, The Art Show, Grilling JR, and What Happened When with Tony Schiavone. Conrad is going to be with Em and I. We're going to talk everything under the sun with him. But until then, my name is Randy Zellea. That's Emerito Rivera. Yeah, that's your name. Emerito Rivera. We'll see you next week.